I'm out today on the Blue Revolt. And unfortunately, I get the opportunity to go somewhere else. Well, I say somewhere else, it's a regular route, but one I haven't used for a while. Because for the last 3 weeks, the wind has been consistently from the east. I always try and ride out into wind to make it easier on the way back. So I've been using routes out to the east. And today the wind is from the northwest. So although it's not going to be a tailwind on the way back, I am actually going to go out to the west. I have got long sleeves on, but I am wearing shorts, which are around about 10 or 11 degrees, but there is a bit of wind, so slight chill factor. So I'm going to go and ride a bit of gravel and some cycle paths. There is a stretch of road that I need for the way back, but as much as possible I'm going to stay off the road today. Another tree's been cut down here. I wonder if they're going to build something. It's one of those dilemmas really, isn't it? Because, you know, we need houses for people. You know we've got a housing crisis. And yet we don't want the countryside absorbed into bricks and mortar. They've got to build them somewhere. But as I was saying, I want to try and stay off main roads as much as possible today, because, well, I don't want to sound melodramatic. I mean, obviously you're going to have to ride roads at some point, and I will, but 2 cyclists this week in the local area have been hit by car drivers. And the really frightening thing about it is when these reports come up on social media, is the anti-cycling rhetoric, and the fact that people are lying in hospital seriously injured, people they don't even know, and they don't know the circumstances, and yet they choose to hate them purely and simply because of an activity. And the way that they say, oh, cyclists shouldn't be allowed on the road. Well, here's the thing. All you keyboard warriors in your bedsits, bicycles are allowed on the road. Get up. Or make representation to government if you want the rules changed. The other thing that I found, oh yes, it's very interesting how people have been conditioned to just hate cyclists, regardless of the circumstances. And one of the things I find the most interesting and most concerning is not just the volume of traffic, it's the aggression of drivers. I was driving down from Lutterworth yesterday, and a car coming to a roundabout, and this car went into the left turn only lane to go around the outside of the roundabout all the way round to cut me up and then turn right. Morning. Morning. And the car in question was a black Audi Q7. Because the other thing that's really amusing is how they say, oh, I don't like cyclists because they're entitled. And then, without a hint of irony, tell us that cars, or should I say, roads should be for cars only. And of course, the more expensive the car, the more entitled they become. Because that's how the modern world works. That's how we measure wealth. Or should I say entitlement is measured by wealth. I'm rich, therefore I can do things that other people can't. That's how we measure everything in life. How many times do you hear of rich people getting away with all sorts of crimes? Because even the judges think, well, can't really lock him up. He's rich. But yeah, as I was saying, the aggression is quite frightening. The number of people who you see driving at twice the legal speed limit and cutting in and out, trying to get ahead of everybody. And I can't tell you how many times people have overtaken me to slam on the brakes a couple of 100 yards ahead so that they can turn off or close past you in a queue of traffic just so that they can get to the red traffic lights 3 or 4 seconds before you. Really is quite staggering. And that's the danger. You know, they say speed kills, and it's not true. It's impatient driving that kills. Yes, okay, sometimes speed could be part of the equation, but it's not the factor. And the more traffic there is on the road, the more frustrated drivers become, and then the more aggressive they become. And then there's the cycling infrastructure. That really winds them up as well. Why should we be spending money on cycle lanes? We could be spending more money on roads. Again, they'll tell us it's the cyclists that are entitled. Oh look, the gates are open, that makes it easier. I don't know what's going on here today. There's a lovely smell of hot dogs. And then if there are cycle lanes, they moan and say that cyclists don't use them. And they invent their own laws then. So cyclists should be fined for not using the cycle lane. And of course we do use the cycle lanes when they're appropriate. Particularly the ones that aren't alongside a road. So of course they don't see us on the cycle lanes. Because the ones on the side of the road are pretty bad in the main. Some of them are just a picture of a bicycle painted on the pavement, or sidewalk as you say in North America, which is badly broken. There's overhanging trees, road signs and all sorts of other things on it. And then the other ones are just bloody dangerous. They built a new one where I live, parallel to an existing cycle lane. But they won't put one where it's actually needed. Anyway, the new one is on a main road which crosses in the space of a mile 4 side roads, which means that you have to have a look for traffic coming out of the side road, but also traffic coming from behind you that might want to turn into the side road, which really means stopping and looking over your shoulder, sometimes even having to get off the bike every quarter of a mile. And then there's the victim blaming. People on social media claiming that probably the cyclist's fault because he wasn't wearing a high vis, as if that would make any difference. Do you honestly think an aggressive, impatient driver is going to go, oh look, there's somebody in a high vis, I'll slow down, give him plenty of space. You could be dressed in a jacket made of orange flashing lights with a big blue light on your helmet, it wouldn't make any difference. It's not that they don't see you, it's that they don't care. And again, it just comes down to this sense of entitlement. I'm in a car, I should be allowed to do what I want. And of course, all of these car drivers who complain that not enough cyclists use the cycle lanes fail to see the irony of that, because the driver close passing cyclists, generally putting them in danger and intimidating them, is the reason that there are less people on bikes. I was listening to the Wild Ones podcast yesterday. I really like that. And they were saying something I've heard before, that cyclists should be sort of model citizens and then people would like us. But I'm afraid it's not true, because that's not how prejudice works. If you're prejudiced and you hate cyclists, and something happened to you, and a cyclist came to your assistance and saved your life, you wouldn't go, oh, I've changed my mind. I think cyclists are nice people. No, what will happen is they'll go, oh, that was unusual, it was a cyclist. Not like the rest of those bloody cyclists. That's just how it works. Once people have decided to hate someone, they hate them. Simple as that. I read an article, I don't know what it was, where I read it was something to do with Donald Trump and why people support him. And they said that stupid people love an anecdote. They don't like statistics and facts. They love an anecdote. And that's what people play into. Because people don't want to know the truth. Especially if it contradicts their prejudice. People complaining that cyclists break the rules while parking on pavements and breaking the speed limit. People complaining about cycle lanes causing congestion while sitting in a 5-mile tailback on a motorway where cyclists aren't allowed. People don't want the truth, they can't handle the truth, particularly if the truth shatters their prejudiced illusion. And as usual, if you found this video interesting, like and subscribe. While I'm stopped at red traffic lights that cyclists never stop at.